the fun part, let's talk about this ban phase. Vitality will be taking up the blue side, red side being taken by RoyaL. Vitality has found more success on the red side than they have on the blue. Their counterpicking strategy has been indubitable over the course of their 3 weeks thus far. What are we going to see for them now that they have the advantage of the blue side for game one?
Yeah, I mean, Vitality has picked a really aggressive dive composition. They've played Lubu with Ryoma, Tulin, Malik, and Teamy. No ADC on their side, and Redemption has been shown that he can be very flexible in types of heroes he can play, because we always see him on that Lindis, that ADC type of carry, but the fact that they're flexible in playing ADC and dive composition means that Vitality can flex. RoyaL also likes a dive composition. They play a lot of Killgrove. They put Coco on a hero that can just go in and do a ton of damage, and then follow up. Then RoyaL just needs to follow up with that aggression. So we'll see which team is going to play either both dive comps, or one will maybe pick an ADC composition.
I think what it's going to come down to in these fights is I think it's exactly as you said. It's all about aggression, but it's also about counter-aggression. If we see Coco go in once again and the team is even a millisecond too late, you know that it's going to get capitalized on. I think it's really going to be, for me, about the collapse that Vitality is going to bring. The second they go in, it's how they collapse onto those overextending targets. If they can obliterate them, wipe out the aggressive front line, and then turn, that's going to be it. And you said, we know how good they are in these teams. Oh.
And we see the bans here. They prioritize all the side laners. Zenio, Max, Malik, Omen, those are huge side laners. And now taking away the Violet, which opens up Lindis for the side of Vitality on Redemption. But we have Teamy open. We have Superman open. We have a lot of very strong power picks. Ryoma as well. Yeah, so if Ryoma is not picked, then it's definitely going to come to the side of RoyaL. And this is a composition that may end up being double die, but I have a feeling Vitality is going to go for the ADC composition.
I wouldn't be surprised. Something that we've seen Vitality succeed on, a big staple point in their successful games in weeks prior, have been, despite getting behind early, Vitality is very good at playing from behind and executing in the later stages of the game. However, it is going to be the man from Krypton himself.
Yes.
No surprise, however, that will put a potential
Teamy Wonder Woman.
Or Ryoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they give Teamy to the side of Superman, that's the lane matchup is already kind of, Superman's already strong. Ryoma and Wonder Woman are strong too. But you give Teamy to Superman, that's really dangerous, because that's a lot of CC and real hard dive potential. That's going to allow Vitality to run the dive composition that they really like to run. So this could be here a pickup like a Teamy and like a RoyaL or Tulin or Lubu. Because again, the side laners are not important, because Lubu is just as good as Ryoma or Wonder Woman. So them not taking Teamy is really risky, but they're also not going to take Teamy and secure Lindis onto Redemption. Wow.
Wow, indeed. I'm not necessarily sure they needed to grab that there, but so far neither team is really prioritizing that Teamy, which is so surprising given how much success that hero has brought to the table here. And we are actually going to see...
Ganja has always played Lumber.
His Lumber, though, to be fair,
it's really good.
Is super good. His Lumber is monstrous. He lines up that Earth Splitter, goes in with the Rampage, sets up so much play for his team. And of course, constantly having his passive active as well. He plays with that team beautifully. And now if you look across the board, Crashed being here, often a good answer as well.
Raz! This is a heavy engage competition. You want Crush to go in there, use the ultimate, get the stun with that huge Metaforces wave that he releases, then jump on his opponents. Every time Crush uses an ability, everyone around him is slowed. That allows Lubu, Lindis, Raz has a knock-up. Raz is the type of mage that likes to go in and just burst down whoever he focuses. So this is a really dangerous combination from the side of Vitality.
There's a lot of aggression here, but also ways to shut it down in both instances. I'm really going to look to the supports here. Crushed, Lumber, they need to be. We don't talk about the supports nearly enough. They need to be the ones to set up play and then again, deny play from their opponents here. I'm really excited to see what these guys bring to the table.
Crushed is a hero that, in my notes specifically, I have always kept as, despite his lower tier ranking, on many people's spots, the niche pocket pick potential that he has is unbelievable. It's contradictory to say that the support staff around him, considering he is the support, but it's just that if you have a composition that allows him to help out and be that frontline presence as well as that CC animal, great things do happen.
Help me help you?
Help me help you.
Help me help you. That's exactly it.
You pat my back, I'll pat yours with tentacles or whatever that may be. But, of course, we have Twitch voting RoyaL coming up against you guys. RoyaL
going against the analyst. All right.
I like it. I love it. And I want to see more of it.
Okay, we're going to look real silly now. You've set us up to fail. Sui J.
That's why he wanted you to go first. So that way That way,
I just blame
so
on you.
he put you first. You picked Vitality.
Exactly.
If he picks with you, you're the wrong. He still gets to be saved as an analyst.
Yep.
You got to think about that one. It's the strategy of the analyst. But let's see what strategy these teams have as quarterfinal. Scratch that. Semifinal number 2 has begun. Vitality versus RoyaL. In Viram, Suije, it's all you.
RoyaL did enough on Wednesday to win over Twitch chat. They are coming in here now with a bit of that burden on their shoulders as well. But Vitality are also going to be here looking to set up some initial early game pressure. And we're seeing that starting things off here in that mid lane. Ganja needs to try and return some of this damage onto Moon because already Simjo has found himself down from the outset in that mid lane as well. But of course, Lindis. Let's talk about Redemption. Let's talk about how good of an ADC he is. And let's talk about him specifically on this hero.
Yeah, the way he plays Lindis is like coming from the bush. He has that 2 auto attacks that Proctor's have. And look at it, Coco gets caught out and they get the kill on them already. This is not looking good. And as a result, Redemption is going to go ahead and steal some of that farm. And if Redemption gets ahead on this Lindis, he's going to maybe abuse her ability to poke and do a lot of burst damage because she has Lunar Champ in her ultimate, which then launches a spirit at you, and she can proc that 5 times actually, along with the double poke, the 2 double normal attacks she gets from coming out the brush, and then she also has traps that slow you and do some damage if you stay on top of it. So this is something that is going to be really hard to fight against if a Kilgroth doesn't farm and is too squishy. As you know, Kilgroth's weakness is he's a fish. He's really easy to kill because he knows most Kilgroths don't build a lot of damage.
Are fish easier to kill than other animals? Is that a thing? I know. All I know is that Kilgroth in the early game, we have seen him struggle. In example, our first game of the day here. But one thing I'm really going to be watching for are these early game rotations, as we already see the collapse down there in the bottom lane onto the Crush, but all the while the Spirit Sentinel is being picked up, and it actually looks like Sudaro is going to fall there. But heavy committal, a 4-man rotation needed there for the side of RoyaL to get that pick, and now they're moving in here onto the Abyssal Dragon. We've seen this time and time again. The team that can get that initial pick off is then going to be the one to look to get that here, but it already looks like Vitality is going to look to contest this. They're getting a decent poke going in there, and there's Boom. The Vision's going to be coming in there from Redemption. Looks is really going to try to focus this out, but no, it is going to go the way of RoyaL, and now King is being caught out once again. So the Dragon and 2 kills coming out so far for RoyaL. They've got to be happy with this start.
Yeah, what a good play by RoyaL. They dropped it because of the poke coming from the Raz and Redemption putting down the traps. And then as soon as they saw the hesitation from the side of Vitality, they then focused down King immediately and killed the Superman. And that basically allows them to secure the Dragon, and things are looking pretty good. And then another kill onto Redemption. Ganja is just playing so well as Lumber right now.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, barely finding that Earth Splitter. I think actually Lindis thought she was out of that. That was not an ideal situation, and now King trying to disrupt these aggressive invades coming in from the side of RoyaL. Very smartly giving that over to Simjo there as well. So this is Vitality looking really good at the very first instant of this game, but now starting to be shut down here as RoyaL is coming back on board and
wow,
almost finding the Thunderbird there onto King. Nicely done though.
I think Moon blocked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would have definitely killed Superman because the amount of damage it does 30% of lost HP. So really good job body blocking it from the side of Moon.
You don't need Teamy to be a bro.
Yeah, you got Moon.
You got Moon there going in clutch for his squad there as well. But this is where Vitality needs to look to stabilize. They cannot continue to get further behind there. And I'm really going to watch, of course, for how this Lindis scales into this late game, because, of course, they are going to be a little bit happier here because they have that traditional ADC. But you have to talk about Coco on the flip side. We know how scary a Fed Kilgroth can be.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out is Sutaro is on the Crash. So they're styling the Crash. Superman is actually their support. He is rotating with the Lindis, with Moon, and be able to basically absorb damage and CC his opponent so Lindis can do a lot of damage. So this is a very interesting change-up with how they're doing their draft. I've never seen a Superman be support before, and he's normally always put in silent because of so much power he has there, and the amount of gold you put on him, the amount of damage he can get, makes him a force to be reckoned with. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to play and how Vitality is going to leverage a Superman support.
Yeah, it will be here, especially as they're pushing in onto the Dragon. They're going to look to try and snipe that out here as well. But the Dragon is actually still going to go the way of RoyaL. Vitality not able to snipe that out. We do have the Metamorphosis going in, trying to engage onto Hakai. But there we have the Bracers coming in. The follow-up, the stun, beautifully chained with Ear Splitter as well. As Ganja is now deep in the backline that they're going to try and turn on this. But no, very smartly, Vitality is just going to back here, not overstepping too far there. They've already lost the Dragon. They don't want to lose more kills.
Yeah, that was huge there. Getting a second dragon on the side of Ro there. Kappa is doing such a good. He secured. That's the second dragon he secured the first one. So as Ryoma, he's doing a really good job there. Now what they need to do is they need to focus on snowballing because Ryoma is so strong early. And look at Coco. He's getting caught out, but he's going to come right back into fight. Ika needs to get out of here because it's a nice rotation by Ro to turn around that gank that they tried to get on Coco.
The Conqueror being conquered, jebaited, says the side of RoyaL, thinking that Coco was overstepped, and realistically he probably was, but the team was there to back him up. Oh, and another big Earth Splitter from Ganja, splitting the fight right down the middle. That is a no-go zone, Superman, and that is King falling as well. RoyaL in full control right now, conquering the Conqueror, taking down that Lubo, and then using it to set up even more plays. But Moon is going in hard. He has that, and sure, and he's going to get the kill there. And he's going to try to escape. No, able to secure that, but oh man, that was a strict out play there as well as rotation from Lee is there. He's going to be able to hopefully help peel for his lumber, but he needs to be careful because Ganja is getting chunked down. The traps are getting decent value, but Redemption needs to be careful not to overstep here as well. So a little slight victory, more a moral victory, I think, for Moon there.
Yeah, what a beautiful play by Moon there. He got Raz in there. He basically was able to knock up all three of them, do so much damage, comboing all of his abilities, and then using the Endure at the right time underneath the tower to secure that kill onto Coco, and then basically giving his team enough time to then rotate. They did lose the tower, but that was a really great play by Moon there.
Yeah, they need to keep making more plays like that if they have a hope in this game, because Coco is going to start to get more and more terrifying as this game progresses. And now the Dragon has respawned. This will be the next point to watch. So far, both Dragons have gone over the way of RoyaL. They are in the lead right now by exactly 3,000 gold. That is a pretty healthy gold lead here for 7 minutes into the game. But King is stepping up here. He is the support for his team. He's getting the vision. They're going to try and get this initial disruption onto Ganja, but Sinjo is going to look to set up some of this damage. Shooter is there. The Metamorphosis. Lee Kappa is getting very low. There is the split. The going in. The Earth Splitter finding the backline explosion. I'm trying to back up. They are able to snipe out the Dragon as well. And now we have Coco stepping up. The spear is there, but the Crash getting so much value out of the slow. Look at that. They're turning onto this. Ganja and crew are focusing down the Superman. Nicely done. Able to get that kill. That is it. The damage is not alive to the side of Vitality. If they're feeling it so badly here, they just aren't able to find the kills themselves. That was huge.
Yeah, this is a key point in this competition. Superman is just not tanky enough. He's level 7 versus, levels 8, 9, and 10. And as a result, he's not able to absorb a lot of damage and beat a tank that they need. You can see Sotaro, when he goes in with Metamorphosis, the team, Laura just ignores him and doesn't really force him because he has so much sustain and so much HP when he uses that ultimate. With Superman being behind in farm, look at the items he has. He just has Gilded Greaves and not that much items. So as a result, he's not able to tank the front line for them, and every time he goes in, he just gets deleted, and it shows by his 3 deaths so far.
He's able to get like 1 push, maybe 2, and we've seen King in the past do work on heroes like Wonder Woman. We know mechanically he's a great player, but he just doesn't have the health bar at this stage in the game. But they're going to try and fight regardless here. No, very smartly RoyaL getting the tower and getting out, and that, to me, another mark of a great team, knowing when not to push their luck, when to not overextend. We have a tower, we don't need to fight for more. Let's just back out, reset our farm, let's keep this rolling. No reason to overstep, no reason to give up our lead.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what RoyaL is doing. Before, they will be a little over-aggressive, they'll overextend, and allow their opponent to get back into the game. But you can see here that the 3K gold lead is still standing here, so Vitality isn't falling more behind, but after this tower, it may be the case here.
Sudaro, though, is stepping forward, actually able to help save this tower here. That was massive. He felt so confident. I thought, oh, this could potentially be a dead Crest here. But no, knowing exactly how far he could stay here, and now we see all the side. See the side of both Vitality and RoyaL pushing in here down onto the bottom lane. The Dragon is respawning here in a few seconds. Then the bot lane onto the tower, though, as well. Crest and crew are going in. They need to be careful, though, as Sakai is baiting out some of those skills as the Dragon has respawns. We'll see how much teams commit to this here. 3 members from both sides are here, but we do have now Lumber coming in. We're going to need to see the Raz join in as well. But neither team wants to overstep here, especially with Lubu fighting up in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely. Lubu is not going to be able to sustain against a Kilgroth. Kilgroth is just better 1v1. And look at the lane, the side matchups here. Vitality is not winning the side lanes because of the Crash side lane. Against a Wonder Woman, it's not going to be able to win that and be able to push tower and put as much pressure. You can see the opposite is happening, actually. And let's see what's going to happen with this Abyssal Dragon player here.
I think the Abyssal Dragon is just very easily getting over the way of RoyaL. Vitality, they kind of look like the kid who got lost at the mall and he's looking for his mom. They're just wandering around like chickens with their heads cut off right now. I'm not totally sure. This is not the vitality we expected. They're always responding. They're not making plays. I think they know at this stage of the game, they realize we cannot fight RoyaL. We are down too much. We have an ADC. We need to play this for the late game, but they're not getting enough elsewhere. If you don't want to fight, that's fine. But get stuff elsewhere on the map. Don't fully commit to the split push. Fully commit to mid.
Yeah.
They need to do something else. Instead, they're sort of half doing stuff.
Yeah, that was a nice ultimate by Coco there. He's able to avoid the Superman from CCing, but Sotaro is going to commit suicide to try to protect his tier 2 tower. And again, I don't know why they didn't go with a Superman side lane and a Lubu side lane, because that's extremely strong 2 side lanes you have with Crash then doing, and look at this play at the Dragon Slayer. They get the kill on Coco, who's trying to solo the Dark Slayer. That was very risky. This Slayer buff is going to allow the side of Vitality to get right back into this game.
That was the misplay that Vitality was looking for. That was what they needed to do here. That was massive. Getting the pick off, getting the Dark Slayer, surviving. The Conqueror there. Ika surviving through it all. That was massive there for them. That was the recovery they needed. They are now down only 2.5k gold. That is massive here for them. And all in all, though, if there was a chance for them to come back into this game, it is right here, right now.
Yeah, and you can see the gold lead is starting to be less of a deficit for Vitality, which is really good for them. Superman is trying to get more items. The key is, like, he cannot be out of position. I have not seen a Superman do as much, if anything, in these fights there. King is not CCing, not displacing opponents where they need to be placed. And as a result, because Superman is not making a big impact on these fights, you know, it's not resulting in a combination that is winning the fights for Vitality. So I'm really looking at King here and how he's going to leverage Superman, how he's going to use the CC that Superman provide to put people out of position, to get these stuns and these slows, and allow Vitality to start winning some key fights.
Between Superman, between Raz, they have a lot of displacement here. So they need to be able to leverage that. As you said, they need to look for that big old wombo combo. They need to get the Crushed ult in there. They need to get the Metamorphosis value as they are going to look to rip apart this dragon, and almost getting sniped there from Ganja. That was huge. Not quite able to find that there, though. Now we do have Vitality starting to ramp. Lindis, 7k gold to her name, starting to get those key items on board here as well. So the Lindis redemption, we haven't talked about him a whole lot this game, but we're going to start as we transition into this late game.
Yeah, you can see that he's not that behind. He has 7.2k gold compared to the enemy jungler, which has around 7.4k. So things are looking actually decent for Vitality, even though they're behind it. But they got to try to save this tower and get some kills here. And they might be able to here, potentially, against Coco.
They're going in. The fight is breaking out now. King is going to drop there as well. The 2 kills coming in the way of RoyaL just having too many bodies in the field. Crush was not there at that pivotal moment. Yeah. Sutaro, if he had been in position, that might have been a completely different fight. Vitality were so close to finding it there. RoyaL, though, despite stacking a bit there, they were able to chain that CC beautifully. That was really what they needed there. The Earth Splitter forcing the rotation there that they just really didn't want. And as you said, King has just felt like such a non-factor in this game so far. The Superman really needs to start pulling it together here for his squad. He's the Superman for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. This is why Superman support was so interesting for me, why you would play Superman support. Because he needs to scale. He needs to get so much defense and be that tank initiator in side lane that he's such a pain to deal with. If you focus him, that's exactly what the enemy team wants, because he's so tanky, he has so many items. But because he's the support, he doesn't have the items, he doesn't have the goal to really become that tank initiator, and he's getting focused down too easily and dying too fast. But the key now is they need to get to late game. Once they get to late game, it will work out, because it will basically balance itself out. Superman will reach level 15, will get the items, and Lindis will be able to carry, because a late game ADC comp here is going to be a much better situation to be in versus what RoyaL has here, where we almost starts to fall off a little bit in the late game.
Yeah, and you see heroes like Lubu, like Superman, like Kresh, who all also do scale well into that late game, and you cannot forget about Moon. He is going to start hitting like an absolute truck. He's able to just throw out those shards time and time again, so really watch for those here as the fight might look to start to break out here in the bot lane as the bottom tower does go down for the side of Vitality. 10 kills to 4. RoyaL has been looking good all game long, but we haven't really seen the big 5-man fight. Vitality have been stalling, but now maybe they think they have the farm. They are able to defend under their tower. They're going to look to go in. The Earth Splitter not getting any value in the backline, so now this is the time for RoyaL to just leave. They didn't find the initiation. They need to not overstep, but Coco is here. He might be a point of contention, but no, very wisely, RoyaL didn't find the initiation. They're just going to reset.
Yeah, really nice job there by the side of Vitality to cut the wave from the very top, using the Crash, jumping in there, using his Whirlpool ability, and then Lindis from the right side, taking out that wave. And then Lumber trying to get a play there under tower, but they completely anticipated that and avoided the Earth Splitter from knocking up any of the members on Vitality, and they protect the tier 2 mid tower. If they keep this up and they turtle, they'll be looking really good to then start scaling, because Redemption is starting to get fed in these fights, along with Moon as well. Moon and Redemption are going to do so much damage if they aren't shut down right now.
So I'm looking at Coco. I'm looking at Redemption. They're going to be the ones really leveraging that damage for their squad. And Coco, he's going to be hitting like a truck, but he definitely not quite where we were expecting here at this stage of the game. I'm really looking for him to even be hitting a little bit harder. You even saw how long it took him just to clear that minion wave there, as once again, Ganja not finding that pivotal Earth Splitter there in the mid, but King needs to be careful stepping so far forward. Already, just a little bit of damage comes his way, and that health bar just starts to drop. He is really not as tanky as he wanted to be at this stage of the game.
He's got to get more. Once he gets a 4 tier 4 item, he's good. With Gaia standard, he has 1100 additional HP there, so that's not too bad for him. Once he gets that 4 tier 3 item, he's going to be able to really tank more for the enemy. Against the enemy team here.
Yeah, Gaia's standard's definitely going to get a lot of value, especially these fights drag out over long periods of time, able to get that health. That's going to be massive there for him. So, again, Vitality, they're turtling beautifully, but at some point, they need to pull the trigger.
Yeah, they definitely need to pull the trigger because with an ADC composition, and they're going to start getting so much. Look at the damage item. Lindis is almost finished with her 6th tier 3 item. This is going to be really rough for the side of RoyaL here, because if they can't get onto that Lindis, and Redemption is going to do so much damage from the backline, it's going to be so hard for them to win a lot of these fights. So that Kilgroth needs to try to get to that backline and destroy either Moon or Redemption, because those two main damage dealers are pretty fed. Look at that, 5 tier 3 item on Raz already. And the item parity is starting to be even. Ryoma's already full build. They have to push their advantage now and try to get another tier 2 tower or a high ground tower eventually.
Yeah, they need to find that as the fight breaks out here on the Slayer side, as King is the one stepping too far forward. The Earth Splitter is not going to connect, but we have Sutter on the backline. Look at the damage coming through. Crash is standing tall, and they are able to look to split despite the Whirlpools there. Now Ika has joined. Look at the damage coming in. The knock-up, the follow-up is there. They do end up losing that key hero, but no! Somehow RoyaL endures through it. So 2 kills going the way for RoyaL. I thought they were all going to start to fall, but just the damage wasn't there. Redemption just was not able to just land it. They were all stacked up. It was perfectly put together. It was a nice portion, a beautiful sandwich, and Vitality just couldn't take the bite.
Yeah, I don't know what Vitality is doing. They need to play around the Lindis. Like, them going in like that, there's no reason for Superman to go in. There's no reason for Krish to go in. You just need to pew and protect Lindis. Let Lindis fight from back to front. They're trying to fight, they're half diving and letting Lindis pull from far. You need to fight with the Lindis and not allow them to get on her and just let her kite them and kill them. And look at this play here by Moon. He's going to do so much damage there and using Endure right at the right time here. He's going to fall.
He is going to fall, but able to sort of shut down that aggression at this point from RoyaL, but they're totally fine because the Dark Slayer's up on the map right now. They're instantly going to look to rotate to that. But on the side of Vitality, I am going to chase this right now. They cannot allow them to pick up the key Dark Slayer, and it looks like RoyaL is just actually going to back out instead. The health bar is not in a position where they can actually do that. That is a huge boon there for the side of Vitality. If that could have been massive. If RoyaL was able to instantly convert onto a Dark Slayer, that could have been it. But instead...
Wow, look how fast Lindis is taking this Dark Slayer. However, Tulin is there. He might be able to steal it here, and we'll be able to. Yeah,
they're going to look to go in, and yes, the Dark Slayer is going to go the way of Vitality. King able to grab that there. That was massive, and Simjo getting absolutely chunked by Redemption. King has stepped way too far forward, but he has done his job. He has created that space, and he has gotten that buff for his team. That's the Redemption we were looking for. Look at how fast he chunked that hero there. Simjo just got deleted.
Yeah, that was so risky for Simjo to try to come from the backline, try to focus Redemption, and as a result, he got collapsed on and instantly deleted. And really nice shot. Although King died and is basically down 5 deaths, he was the one that stole that Dark Slayer. That Superman came in there flying, took the Dark Slayer, and now Vitality has a breath of life to turn this game around into their advantage.
They haven't lost a high ground yet. That's huge. They're not going to be having these super minions spawn for the side of RoyaL. That's what they need, and now only a 5K gold difference. This is their opportunity. We've said it once before. The last time they got that Dark Slayer buff, they needed to make something happen. They got decent value, but this is really the time. They need to get an ace, a convincing 5-man fight. They need to push down top and mid. They need to get the pressure going right now, because at this point, RoyaL, they're just going to run away with this.
Yeah, they definitely are. And again, the key is Vitality needs to fight around the Lindis. There's no reason to go in. Let her poke. The other team needs to dive you. You don't need to dive them. Why are you diving RoyaL? Let Lindis poke them. Force the dive onto Lindis. Then use Superman to push everyone off the Lindis. And then Moon and the Lubu can go in there, do their knockups, time it perfectly together, and just delete the enemy team. If they continue to fight where they're diving and Lindis is just trying to contribute to the fight, they're not going to win. They have to abuse the range. You have an ADC comp. Abuse that range, poke the heck out of them, force them to make a mistake and try to dive you and win this fight.
It's funny, you look at the side of Vitality, it's all about pushing them away, pushing them away, pushing them away. Or
yeah,
in,
exactly.
potentially, but it's all about, okay, dive in on Lindis, all right, push them back, let her do damage. All right, they're coming on to Lindis, push them back, reset. As exactly as you say, they need to play around Redemption. He is the linchpin for this draft.
Yeah.
As much as a playmaker as Moon is, he is really secondary here to this Lindis. Redemption is talk about eggs and baskets, that's the egg.
Yeah, and I see this all the time. They don't dive a dive comp. You know, you're doing them a favor when you do that, and oh my goodness, Moon is gonna get deleted there. They're again, they're not having a numbers advantage, so I don't know why they're trying to fight here like this. It's really tough for them. Nice ult by Crash, but they needed to time that together, and as a result, going in there without Lindis poking, they're not going to win any of these fights. These dives are just not working, and Vitality needs to change up their play, or else they're going to lose this game.
I mean, Moon does have Ancestral Glory, so I get what he was trying to do there, but it just wasn't enough. And look at Redemption, even just hitting on like Ganja and stuff, it's just not doing enough damage. At this stage of the game, one ADC is not enough to save you. As we are learning here, as Suitaro is going in, he's not going to have the Metamorphosis here as King is trying to join the fray, but it is not nearly enough. The Bracelets of Submission is coming as well, giving a nice big shield. Suitaro is going to drop once more as the rotation between top and mid is in full swing for the side of RoyaL. I believe that this will probably be the icing on the cake here. This might be the nail in the coffin as the side of RoyaL is pushing in onto the core. They are starting to smack away at it. The minions are joining them though, but the core is doing a lot of damage as King is going to drop as well. Wonderman's actually going to fall here. And Ika and Redemption, they're going to try and hold here onto the core. They might be able to do so. Is Coco getting chunked down? Lindis is actually going to fall though as well, trading out for Wonder Woman once more. So the hold is there, but we do have Coco reviving here onto the core. The knock up, the follow-up damage, he will not be able to do it. We saw some crazy core plays coming out last week, and it's not going to see a repeat of that.
Yeah, nice job by King there, pushing the wave there so that the team could not rush the core. Because without a minion wave, it has so much damage reduction. And there goes Ika down. They need to make sure. He has Ancestral Glory, so he might come back up here. No, he doesn't buy it in time, unfortunately.
That was actually a huge misstep. He needed to not die right there. That was actually massive as Suitaro and Moon are now here. But look at the damage on the lead. Moon hits like a freight train, but he is not going to be coming back here once more. Just instantly getting deleted. That's the problem with the Raz here, is he just really commits, and Ryoma and Tulin just blast him. Once Sim just starts to get this lightning channeled up, the second Raz go in, he's just getting melted.
Yeah, he is. And again, Vitality, I don't know why they're diving into the enemy team. There is no reason to do that. Why? You have an ADC composition. The way they're playing this composition is really having me question their thinking process in terms of how they're team fighting. And they're always team fighting uneven. They're diving in 2v5 or 2v4, and there's no follow-up. No one else is following up from the side of Vitality. I don't know why they're even bothering to dive. Like, you have the range, stop diving, use Lindis to win these fights, and poke, force the enemy team to dive you. Otherwise, you know, I don't see any way Vitality is going to win this game with how they're playing there. There's no way they're going to come back if they continue to not play to their win conditions and try to dive a comp that wants to dive you.
I agree wholeheartedly. We haven't even really seen like a true 5v5 fight. We just haven't seen it. It's so bizarre because we see great individual plays coming out from Vitality, and great, and again, individual map sense as well. But Ganja, just look at how tanky he is at this stage of the game. Look at how much poke they have to put in there onto this Lumber as well. King, though, is finally starting to scale it well. I guess that is the one little benefit going the way of Vitality through all this. Superman is finally starting to scale up, which is what they need. But you said it perfectly. They just need to play around Redemption. They need to play to their win condition.
Yeah, and Moon, look at Moon. He's poking so much these fights. He cannot get caught out like that. Every time he goes in, there's no reason to go in. He needs to go in when they're low, and as a result, because he's going in like that, he's getting focused so easily. He has no defense, just Ancestral Glory, which isn't enough. he just needs to poke. Raz has so much, he has infinite poke because of his power surge.
Crucial misplay. They were trying to disrupt the Earth Splitter. They were trying to find that interrupt, but they actually just completely mistimed it. Ended up both getting knocked up instead. They were not there in time. They were half a second late. We saw the punch go in. We saw the lift. We saw the Red Stallion come in, but it literally wasn't there in time. That was actually huge for the side of Vitality. They were not trying to dive that as crazy, I think, as they did. Is now the Darkslayer is going to go the way over of RoyaL. I don't think Vitality can get there in time, so that is going to be, I think, exactly what RoyaL needs to win this game. Vitality, they're driving on fumes right now.
Yeah, they are, and this is going to be probably GG because with Darkslayer, and look at the core, it's less than half health. All they need to do is get those super minions to the core and finish and just rush the core. They even have to fight. With the Darkslayer buff, they're going to do so much damage onto that core. And 2 of the high ground towers down, it's going to look really tough for Vitality to come back from this one.
7 Ancestral Glories in the game right now. Every single member of the side of RoyaL is going to be packing one of those bad boys. So they're going to be coming back in these fights as they look to push in now onto the core. They have the minion waves in mid, in top, in bottom. They have the buff. King is going in, baiting out the Earth Splitter. That is actually huge. Coco needs to be careful not to overstep. But look at Redemption. As hard as he's hitting, it's just not nearly enough. These health bars now for the side of RoyaL are just getting too strong. They have reached that critical late game mass, and Redemption is just not able to shred them here. So they need to try and make something happen. They need to combine all their ultimates, get the ultimate wombo combo. As Simjo is pushing in here onto the core, they're just choosing to go in for the core. The knockup is there, the double onto Lee. They're trying to follow out of Hakai there is with the stun as well, and that is going to be the core dropping. That is it, RoyaL. They don't need it. They don't need kills. They just need that win here in game number 1.
And RoyaL secures themselves first blood, not only changing the potential fates of our casters' predictions, but putting the power in the hands of Twitch chat. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the desk. Adaptation was the name of the game, and RoyaL, throughout the entirety of that game, slowly but surely were finding ways to put the dominoes in place to put themselves down for that course destruction.
Yeah, Kappa did such a good job securing the dragons. I mean, on Roma, he was using his Willing Blade, abusing that early game, shutting down RoyaL. But I mean, shutting down Vitality. But I mean, honestly, Vitality helped them. They constantly sacrificed going in there. Moon would go in there, King would go in there, Ika would go in there, one at a time, never an even fight. And as a result, Vitality literally handed the win over to the side of RoyaL the way they were playing. They were not playing to the ADC comp. Redemption's build, too, was very interesting.
Lee D Kappa, Ganja, 0 deaths apiece.
Yeah.
That was crazy. They knew exactly how far their limits were. And as well as RoyaL was playing that, I also feel like that was in part Vitality misplaying that. It really came down to them not executing correctly. Again, we said it time and time again. They had a win condition, but we saw, I would need to look back at that Lindis build, but she just, like, there's a point where I'm like, okay, she's hitting hard. She's hitting, but then she started hitting on, like, Ganja and stuff, just like,
I mean,
a literal slap on the
she
wrist.
Had Rank Baker and Muramasa, which has some peers, but she needed Fafnir's talent. She needed these items that do more damage. The longer to fight and the less HP to target get, because she wasn't able to do a lot of damage on any of the tanks because the atomization was good for squishies, but not good for people that have a lot of defense against you. And I felt like the ADC never truly carried because of the way they're playing, too. They never fought around Moon.
They never fought a 5-man fight.
They have the range. Moon can poke like crazy on Raz. Like, that's the whole point of playing Raz. You poke them and you force them to die, but he kept going in and committing suicide. Moon was like the tank Raz, but that wasn't a tank.
There's a fine line between overly passive play and patient play. Looking at the strategy that RoyaL was able to implement in the later stages of the game, despite the back and forth in the earlier stages, once you got past the mid-game, towards the later stages of the game, it was not overly passive, it was patient, waiting for their time to strike, and they did just that. We have one replay that's going to kind of highlight when they decided to turn that patient play into active play and winning themselves this top fight.
Yeah, you can see the Ica goes in and gets a good knockup, but it's a 3v4 at this point, and then Redemption comes in a little late, but then at this point they need to kite with the Lindis here and just fall back. But as a result, because King is not that tanky yet, he's still a little lower level, they're able to kill him very fast. Ica goes in pretty deep there, and it kind of happened every time. Is just the rotation of RoyaL always caught Vitality off guard. They always had the numbers advantage when they engaged first, and Vitality just never responded. But instead of responding the right way and backing off and waiting for their team to show up, they would just go in, and it was an uneven fight. And they went into a comp that wants to dive against numbers that aren't on their side.
Well, we've got some tweets coming in. Kilgroth is like Gary from SpongeBob SquarePants. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I think he looks more like old Greg, but I mean that's just me.
I'm old Greg.
I'm old Greg.
I'm old Greg.
We're not gonna quote the rest of that
one. No, Gary from SpongeBob. I think so.
A little bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. Also, want to give a shout out to Cherry for all his help. Europeans absolutely give a big shout out to 100%.
Yes, Cherry, you have been fantastic. You might be raging Cherry, but you're the loving Cherry in our heart. Now, game number 2 coming up shortly. Vitality, we talk so much about, I mean, adaptation was what won RoyaL in game number 1. Vitality now is going to have to adapt here in game number 2. What are they going to have to do to change things up?
Yeah, they need to play to their win conditions. I think it's about changing and looking at what's not working, and they kept diving over and over again and just losing every fight. So they need to make sure that they adapt to what their comp needs to play. Actually, it's not even adapting. They just need to play how their comp is intended to play. Literally, you have the range advantage. There's no reason to dive. If you have a Raz who can outpoke your enemy team, his power surge is up almost every second late game. Just poke and abuse Lindis and Raz like crazy and force the other side to make a mistake, not you guys making the mistakes. And I feel like if Vitality continues playing like this, they're going to lose this game.
I agree. They need to do one of two things differently, and we're going to see it as the drafts come out here in this draft. So the bans come out here, sorry. They need to either draft an early game aggressive composition and utilize actual good rotations and solid early game pressure, or they need to draft ADC again but play correctly.
We're also getting word for the first time. We haven't talked about this at all in the Valor series thus yet, but teams have the ability in between games to actually create a substitution. Azure will be subbing in for Ica for this game. How does that change their playstyle?
Oh, Azure. I think maybe that's why they didn't play Superman side lane and Kresh went to the side lane. So Azure is their biggest... He's the playmaker on the side of Vitality. This guy's teaming is freaking scary, man.
And then instantly banned. And then instantly banned. Oh, wait, Azure? No, forget that. Let's not deal with that at all. No, Azure is a scary playmaking support.
Yeah, and also the draft, too. Vitality, Superman support. I've never seen it. That doesn't work. It didn't work. He kept going.
Superman does not succeed as a supporting cast. He is a lead. He is
the lead cast.
You bring him in the third act,
and he flew
dominates.
in there and melted. The man from Krypton just disappeared. So it's really funny how Superman was being played. And King is a monster in side lane. King is he's Wonder Woman. He's the guy that made these crazy backdoor plays. Like, put King back in the side lane, man, because I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Violet being banned is pretty smart because, again, Redemption is really good in this ADC comps, and let's see how this is going to work out.
Get Azure on support. Put King back in the side lane.
Play your role, man.
Play your role. Stay in your lane, kid. No, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like we're going to see a revitalized Vitality here in game number 2. Now that they're feeling more comfortable on these picks.
I see that pun.
Yeah.
I see that.
You're getting there. I'm so glad that you're back, mind you. We had if we had a prediction, we obviously keep predictions on how well he does. If we had a success rate win-loss ratio for the success rate of Sweejay's puns, it would be at less than 15%.
Oh yeah, baby.
Because instead of injecting them in a conversation, he just walks at me and he'll just say it and stare at me. He just walks at me.
Anyways, I want to change the subject. Wonder Woman is a really good ban here because King is a monster in this Wonder Woman. They gotta take it away from King. And I think as a next ban here, potentially Zenio and Malik may come up as a good ban because if you leave those open, it may be first pick. Probably Zenio over Malik, I assume.
Would say, yeah.
But Malik's going to look really solid as a first pick for the side of RoyaL here.
I would really like to see that coming out as well. Zenio, we've seen the power of this hero in the right situations. His win rate is good. It's not like exceptional, which is funny because we always talk about how I brought this up last Saturday. We're like, oh, what's his actual win rate sitting? It was sitting at like 50%. Like it wasn't actually
it's not that high,
despite how much.
And max too.
And max too, yeah. So it's sort of like these perceptions of strength. So we'll see how those perceptions change as the weeks go on, as we see EU and NA sort of be able to revitalize the meta.
Yeah, there we go.
And they left Malik open.
Yeah,
that's what's
Sujay,
super important.
Ryoma's going to get picked up here for sure. And then potentially a Lumber, deny the Lumber from RoyaL, like take the Lumber away. Oh, they're instead take the Max, which is risky because Omen's open, my friend. Omen can be picked up on the side of RoyaL along with Teamy, and then you got a pretty sorry, not Teamy. You got just 2 solid side laners with Omen and Malik here, and then a Lumber, which, you know, Ganja is just amazing on.
Oh, we saw it. I mean, the Earth Splitters, when they were hitting, were disgusting.
Ooh, a Slim.
Ooh. Oh!
And a Kilgroth.
Interesting here.
So I like the combination of this explicitly because we've seen difficulties with teams playing Slims in the past find themselves too far behind. Despite the fact that he has that stun, it still takes a while for Slims to really ramp up, get those stacks on the Scorching Wind. Kilgroth helps mitigate the issues that he faces in the early game with that aggression. So I actually like this decision by RoyaL to kind of help shade a little bit of the underpowering. And Alice, I knew this is where you're going. This is where it was headed.
All right, so we saw this played in NA. I believe it was Immortals last Saturday who brought this out. It was the combo of setting up the stun when you get the spear in from Slims, follow up with the Sunshine from Alice. And of course, I remarked, I had this epiphany of the synergy between Kilgroth and Alice when she's able to set a place for him and then get in the movement speed buff with the shield. Oh man, Kilgroth is terrifying. But then you add in a Chalkner on the other side.
Yeah, AOG actually played it.
It was AOG.
They played it extremely dangerously. And then Immortals also played Alice as well with ADC. And we also saw Team Noob play Alice as well. Team Noob play Alice with Ignis too. And Alice is anti-dive. I mean, you want to dive my ADC, I'll just put my Hissy Fit right there, and you're slowed and you can't move. And Kilgroth comes in there and slices you up like the fish you are. So
nothing is scarier than a child with a Hissy Fit. And Alice definitely exemplifies that well. But we want to know what you think. As always, we are in semifinal number 2. The finals is coming up next. RoyaL is 1 win away from getting a rematch against Team Noob and having the potential to secure themselves more points. But with that, make sure you guys kick over to Twitter and use the hashtag Valor Series. Let us know what you think. We're going to be popping some of those on the screen, and it's going to be super exciting. Maybe give us your best pun. We'll give an educational lesson here for Suijay. Possibly something of the sort of the effect.
Send me to pun school.
Send you to Pun School. We've got Caster School.
We got Caster School, yeah.
Maybe we'll get Pun School. Who knows? Guys, are you still feeling confident about RoyaL after this draft?
RoyaL's going to win.
Yeah,
wow.
I think so too.
That was so nonchalant. Meh.
So
it's going to happen. I feel like you need like a bubble pipe.
Their draft is really good.
Really good
Their draft is really
Vitality,
good.
I don't know what's going on, man.
I mean, maybe the Chalk can save it. We'll see. I don't know. It's game number 2, but after how RoyaL looked, that draft, I think RoyaL might turn this around.
It's going to be a spicy game. We have semifinal number 2, game number 2. RoyaL is 1 win away from securing themselves a spot in the final. So EJ in Verum, let's make it happen.
Let's get into game number 2. Vitality needs to find redemption here. Oh, there he is. No, I mean redemption in this series if they have any hope of making it to that finals as we get started here. RoyaL, though, they have such a fantastic, early, mid-game, late game, like this draft does it all.
Oh, wow. Look at that nice Steel Fire Redemption there. One thing they do need to win, Alice is a little weak. We all saw her do really well early game as well, but she's not as strong as she is when it comes to mid to late game. Ryoma, you know, as long as Redemption and the side of Vitality can snowball the jungle here and abuse Ryoma's early game to get stack dragons, starve with the jungle, not let Slims scale up, they have a chance of winning, but it looks really tough for them if they let the Slim ADC get to late game.
Yeah, they need to be very careful with that, but I love the fact that they're not letting RoyaL control the rotations. This is exactly what they needed to do. This is crucial here as we see the 4-man roam, the invade here into the jungle of the side of RoyaL. All the while, Kilgroth is now being forced to line up against that Max, I should say. Do the math on that. That is not a matchup that he will win. That Max is looking very solid up there in the top lane. So already, Vitality, I said they needed to do 1 of 2 things differently. They either need to play an aggressive early game composition or they need to play a better ADC, and they decided to take the former. They decided to say, you know what, maybe it's not for us today. We're going to just go invade your jungle.
Yeah, this is what they're good at. RoyaL is really good at dive comp, and Vitality as well. They played actually a massive dive comp on Wednesday with Lubu, Ryoma, along with Tulin. So this is more of a comfort pick for them, and Moon on Tulin is extremely proficient. He does so much damage, plays so aggressive. So if they keep this up, they can snowball this game and not let Slims get anywhere near his late game power spike.
I think, for me, Moon has some of the best endure timings we see, particularly in Europe. The guy is just an absolute beast. The second you think you have him dead, he's like, nope. And he comes back, and he usually ends up picking up a kill in return. He will bait you in beautifully time and time again. So, of course, we have to watch for him here onto this tool, and maybe a little bit more comfortable than the Raz in this situation. Already we see an early Dragon going over the way of Vitality. RoyaL now on the back step to start this off. However, it is now them with the ADC in their pocket. However, Ganja is doing babysitting duty here once again, as Azure is trying to disrupt this as much as he can. But the mana bar getting kind of low here for him, so he needs to be cautious overstepping here into the jungle of RoyaL.
But just look at Azure, how he's playing. He's just dominating map control, going into the enemy side of the jungle, getting in the bush first, initiating, you know, this mental game that he's playing. He's winning a lot of these jungle dominance here. He's asserting his territory control, and that's what makes Azure so good as teamie or any support. He just knows where to position, knows where to be, and basically allows his team to play more aggressive due to his positioning and his vision he's providing.
Well, speaking of positioning, here we haven't talked about a whole lot yet so far this game is the Preda in that mid lane. We sort of glossed over him in checks. We were so hyped up on that Alice pick, but Preda is also a hero that does well when you are able to chain massive amounts of CC, as we saw coming in with that spear from Slims. If he's able to line that up, hit that max range stun, if Alice is in position to follow up, that gives that chance to that Plague Scepter to come out and just do so much work.
Yeah, and when Preda activates the ultimate, Disciple of the Plague, the poison gas column becomes spikes, actually, and they stun, and they have AoE stun effect on them when the spikes appear from the ground. So that's 3 stuns that you have from a Preda, from an Alice, from her Sunshine, and then from the Slims with that spear throw. And that can be devastating on the side of Vitality. But you have the Chognar. As long as he tanks and gets in front of the spears and uses his energy pulse to then remove the stun from himself, his Void Cleanse, then I think, you know, Vitality has a chance to negate the win condition of RoyaL's composition. Yeah,
Azure needs to be that agent of chaos here and sow chaos into the ranks of RoyaL. And of course, that chaos protection is going to be vital here, denying sort of the hissy fit, particularly that's going to be coming out, denying a lot of that CC that Ganja and crew are going to be bringing to the table. But the red buff is going to be going over the way of Lee D Kappa, and they are going to be still fairly comfortable here in their own jungle because once again, Vitality is trying to put that pressure on, but now it looks like RoyaL has found that stabilizing factor. And all the while, I was kind of hoping Vitality would be able to get some more early pressure in terms of structures with this, but they really haven't been able to.
Yeah, they gotta wait till they get a few more items. You know, they need to get a gank on side lane, get a kill on Malik, for example, force the Malik to use his ultimate shock defensively, and when they do that, they can then rush the towers, cut the wave behind. As a dive composition, you want to like cut the wave as much as you can, allow your wave to get to the tower, and then rush the wave once you cut the wave, and you zone out the enemy opponent behind the enemy's tower, and then you move back once your wave crashes into the tower and then take that tower. That's exactly what they need to do as a dive comp to take these towers, because you don't have an ADC, you don't have the range to abuse poke these towers down.
Yeah, but now the Mantle of Ra is coming online for King, and he's going to look to use it here because the ADC can top of pushing down the towers, also pushing down the jungle here, as the blue buff is actually going to get picked up here, and I'm not actually sure who was able to secure that though, as Coco is now going in, standing strong in his own jungle. Sudaro and crew are going to look to chase his follow-up though, but Simjo channeling out a massive Plague Scepter, and that is Lee D Kappa, the spear from the back line, finding that Tulin. That was the prime squishy target that he wanted to line up there. That was a huge play for RoyaL.
Yeah, that Plague Spectre from Preda, from Simjo, was massive. Got a full charge. You can see how much damage it just did to the entire team. You cannot dive. Once you see those 2 lines show up, you better get the heck up, because you cannot dive and follow and try to get a kill and eat the Plague Spectre. You're giving maximum value from Simjo, and that does 300% more damage when it's fully charged up. The longer it charges, the more damage it does, so you gotta be very careful against running into that charged up Plague Spectre.
You got to respect it. Even in the early game, when left to fully charge, that thing does work. So we need to see Vitality be a little bit more cautious about that in the future there, because of course it goes right through everybody. It's going to keep on keeping on. It's going to keep dishing that damage there. So they need to have that respect built up. But that was First Blood. Despite how much aggression we've seen coming in from both sides, we haven't actually seen a lot of kills. That was, again, our first kill of the game, and around the 6-minute mark. That is a little uncharacteristic here for Arena of Valor.
Yeah, it definitely is. Now, they're not getting any towers. It's already past the 6-minute mark. They have to start posturing, get the Dark Slayer, get the Dragon, and then use the 1 minute 30 seconds Dark Slayer buff to push down at least 3 or more towers. That's exactly what Vitality needs to do to get ahead here. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to get this Dragon. They're going to then rotate to Dark Slayer, hopefully get a gank on the way, and then try to get more towers and try to secure this game, because Slims is 3.1k gold. He's not that behind, actually.
So I want to talk about a contrast, unless a huge fight breaks out here and interrupts my train of thought. I want to talk about the contrast of styles. And this is going to be, in game number 1, we saw Vitality run an ADC, and we saw RoyaL pressure them. And RoyaL was able to get a bunch of kills. 10 kills in the early game. They're able to do work, put pressure on. We saw Lindis not be able to get much farm going at all. But now we see this swapped on its head. We see Vitality the ones with the aggressive invade comp, and we see the side of RoyaL with that ADC. However, RoyaL, again, patiently playing to that win condition of that ADC. They're doing it, but they haven't lost anything. This is how Vitality was supposed to have played it in game number 1. We are seeing exactly what you're supposed to do now if you're running this composition on the side of RoyaL. To me, this is huge, because RoyaL is showing they can have it both ways. They can play dive and they can play conservative.
Yeah, and they're playing so well. They're not, the Malik's not going in like a Superman is and just dying. You know, Alice is playing from behind. You know, just allowing Slims and Prado to just poke. They're playing and positioning really, really careful here, which is really... And look at that beautiful flicker from Simjo there to get himself out of trouble and danger.
That was a huge play there from Simjo. If that Welling Blade had landed just a split second sooner, that could have been a very dead mid laner. But that being said, bringing him back out in the bush. Woo! Barely able to get himself out of there. That was massive, using that additional movement speed. Simjo is feeling a little bit scared now at this point, popping that ultimate there, as well as the mid tower is getting quite low. The Hissy Fit going to be doing a good job of peeling there, but they now still know that they are in this jungle. So watch for Lee D Kappa to start throwing in some spears, trying to find some initiation here as well. The blue buff is going to go over the way of the side of Vitality. However, their health bars and mana are starting to decrease. They need to back out. They need to not overstay. A small victory for the side of Vitality, but it could have been so much more.
Yeah, they haven't really used the Omen yet. I mean, if you look at King on Omen, he hasn't really used any leverage the Death's Embrace to make plays, to get some ganks, get some kills here. They are going to be able to push down this tower. That was an interesting ultimate there by that side of Azure. Maybe he just wanted to use it to walk through the Alice ultimate. He'll need to go home. His mana's pretty low and reset. However, I would love to see Omen make plays here. Kilgrath is useless once he's chained in that Death's Embrace. Although Kilgrath can stand and fight, you just have to outrange him and let him fight him from afar, leveraging Tulin's poke, and also Ryoma, who has a farther melee range than this Kilgrath there.
Yeah, using that Naginata Jutsu to keep out of range there, and getting that pressure in there onto RoyaL Coco on that Kilgrath. Now, and we're going to speak of the devil. King, a slight misplay there. I think he sort of was feeling the pressure coming in, and that was the pressure that he was feeling. He
needs to get the heck out of here now.
He needs to get out of there, though, but he doesn't actually have. He actually misclicked there earlier. Okay, so he is going to be able to escape that. That was actually huge. A slight misplay from them, as now this whole side of Vitality is re-engaging, but this is not necessarily the fight they won. They're diving under the tower, and that is the deletion onto the Slims. That's exactly what they were looking for now with their chasing down Alice in the backline as well. Simjo has joined the fray, though, and he's going to be launching out lots of damage as well, as Ganja still survives, using that happy, that friendship as well, to get themselves out of there, and somehow no member of Vitality fell. That was insane.
Yeah, I totally forgot. They have Max. Max is so good against an ADC. You saw what Max did there. He literally just flew in there, and look at that damage. Wow, that combo. Moon playing so aggressive, knowing Redemption is going to come back him up with the Whirling Blade stun, and instantly deleting the Prado without the defense there. But Vitality leveraging the Max there. I totally forgot. Max counters ADC compositions, and you saw what he did there. He came under tower, landed on the Slims, CC'd him, and just deleted him.
He'd been such a non-factor. He'd been kind of playing it quiet, playing it easy in the early game. But then he's like, guys, don't forget, I'm here in the Antares battlefield. I am someone that you need to be reckoning with here, and they showed why the Max is so dominant there in that fight. But one other thing we haven't really talked about is Vitality has taken 4 dragons so far, uncontested.
And 4 towers.
And 4 towers. So we talk about the gold lead. The gold lead now is almost 10K in favor of Vitality, and we saw it in that fight. They just had the items there. So yes, they weren't able to get the same early kills that RoyaL was in that last game, but RoyaL smartly perhaps, not contesting these dragons, still gave Vitality enough of a lead. And again, they are taking it on cooldown time and time again. They don't need to get kills when they can keep getting these dragons.
And that's the mentality we know. They understand the jungle cooldowns. They are taking objectives. And I think it's because Azure is back on support, and Sutaro, his side lane is just so good. I mean, the plays that he's making as Max is really making a big difference here in terms of how he's able to come into the fight at the right time and win critical fights to secure towers. Now they can focus on rotate onto the Darkslayer because they push the waves. This is really safe time to focus on Darkslayer. Omen can do a lot of damage and can tank a lot of the Darkslayer due to his passive and his B ability, and that's exactly what's going to come down to.
Yeah, that's going to be it, as the Darkslayer is going to go the way of Vitality here. And, they need to not be careful, though, as Moon is there. The follow-up stun and the Hissy Fit as well. Moon needs to walk up. There's no damage. Akai just not really able to sort of dish that out at this stage in the game. So one thing we have to talk about, though, Vitality, we mentioned the fact that we thought RoyaL had the better draft coming out of this. However, getting people back on their correct roles, we're seeing how important that is here. Vitality looking like a different team, and Redemption finding himself out now, getting hit in the face with that, but no follow-up damage. And I'm really going to look for the Slims now, because we are starting to get to the point where Slims can start to do that damage. Coco as well carrying in the mid-game. They need to start following up, though, but actually leaving looking at that auto. Kappa is still not nearly in a position where he can be the carry for his team. Yeah,
he definitely isn't. And right now, what they're doing is they gotta organize these waves a little better and crash at the same time. Their waves are coming one at a time. You see the positioning. The bottom and top are moving at the same rate. So they need to make a play from bottom and top here and split the focus of RoyaL so they can hopefully take one of these towers. And this is a key point right here. They need to make a play right here. They need to try to split wave and try to take this tower, and one of these towers at least, with this Darkslayer buff.
They need to take advantage of this huge buff right now, because they're doing a pretty good job of getting the minions coming in, as you said, crashing simultaneously as they're split pushing across the board right now. They're trying to get pressure here on every facet of the high ground, as that is going to be the tower falling. Yes, nicely done. Hakai, though, is there. Oh, beautifully done. Azure actually able to use that pass to get himself out of that position and deny that spear coming in from Slims. Is now the middle high ground tower is going to be focused. The fight is going in under the core as well. Hakai is forced to use that ult to get himself out of that position. We now have the pressure coming in from 2 lanes from the side of Vitality. They are doing this beautifully. This was the team we were expecting here from them, and they are now up only 5 kills to 2, though, but they're going to look to get every high ground tower, Sujay.
Yeah, look at this play, this rotation, this organizing the waves. They did an awesome job. They got 3 towers with that strategy, that movement that they had there. Really nice job how they cut the wave on the bomb. Max, Sutaro was cutting the wave, and then Redemption rotated to the bomb to get the tier 2 tower. Even though Coco was there trying to get the wave, he couldn't clean the wave fast enough to protect that tower. And then Omen from the top, along with Chogna Azure, was able to take the top tower, and then they collapsed together towards the middle tower and take that high ground tower in the middle. Such a nice rotation and play by the side of Vitality. It's exactly what they need to do, and they're looking really good to secure this game.
Vitality not finding their gold from kills, but finding it everywhere else. A 13K gold lead. That is sort of, we're getting to that stage of irrecoverable, that stage where you just can't come back from that. RoyaL is facing that right now. They need a bit of a miracle. They have super minions in 2 lanes. They have a very fed-looking Redemption over on the other side. He is hitting really hard coming into this late game, and Slim's just not able to do enough. Only 7.6K gold to his name. That is support level of the side of Vitality.
Yeah, and look at the build on the Kilgroth. It's a tank Kilgroth along with Malik being tank. So the real damage dealers are just the Slims and the Preda there. So that the tanks are really, the front line is really going to be Malik and that Kilgroth. So they need to make plays with the Malik ultimate here, Alice ultimate, and Kilgroth coming in there to soak the damage and allow Slims to clean it up from behind.
This is really going to come down to this last fight here, or one of these last fights, as the wave is pushing in here, the last high ground tower. They're going to try and get that pressure in as well, but nice job. They're destroying that minion wave from the side of RoyaL. Its pressure is now onto the core. They're turning their focus. They're splitting, trying to defend here under that core. Vitality very smartly not overstepping, is just getting slow. That chip damage, the hasty fade is there, but no follow-up as well. As we do just see the chip damage coming in time and time again. I have to look at this and I have to say, Vitality, this is a different squad from game number 1. I am so impressed with how they have rallied right now. RoyaL, they're trying so hard, but they just cannot find an opening.
Yeah, they cannot find an opening, and they gotta continue to try to poke from behind here. They have the mid-ground tower down, so what you can do is you can sandwich the enemy team, have one person push the wave, and try to get this tower, and then as soon as enemy team tries to save that tier, that high ground tower on the bottom, then you initiate. You're a dive comp. You want to get an Omen's Death Embrace. You want to lock down the Preda or get it on the Slims and then just kill them, just delete them. And once you kill the Preda or Slims, you basically win the game here. You win the fight, you win the game. Because without one of those carries, they won't be able to clear the wave out as fast versus Vitality.
And at this point, I just want Vitality to go all in. We do see the lift off. Going in there. You're going to try and find the openings. Tower diving into the backline. They're finding Kappa as well, trying to dive and initiate. He's leaping back, trying to get himself into the fountain. He is able to do that, but now the core is going to be the point of contention here, as Ganja is going to drop as well. The damage is going to be in there. King is slashing away at that core, and that is going to be it. GG. Game number 2 is going over to Vitality. They found the opening, realizing we're far enough ahead. We can just force it. Let's take this back. Let's take it to game number 3.
And just like that, Vitality strikes back with second blood. Who needs first blood when you have second blood? They're going to force a game number 3, our second best of 3 taken to the series here in the semifinals. We knew Vitality had to make adaptations. We knew that that was going to be a common theme with both of these teams coming into it. Vitality definitely showing they have what it takes to be in the finals.
Yeah, and Sotaro on that max side lane, he was able to make so much plays, and Redemption securing these dragons, stacking the Abyssal Dragons, abusing the early game, and never really allowed the side of RoyaL to scale. They constantly invaded. Vitality invaded the jungle so many times. You can see Sotaro there on the side lane, MVP.
I don't see a whole lot of deaths on the side of Vitality in that game. Only 2 deaths, a whole lot of zeros in that column. That is, I think, what it really came down to. So when we look at the first game versus the second game, we saw the Vitality, they were trying to run a little bit more passive. They had the early game ADC, but they were still trying to do a little bit with it, and they got punished for it. So RoyaL very smartly looking at that, saying, okay, we're going to run it this time around.
Try to turtle a little bit.
Yeah, but we're going to turtle a little bit more. But because of that, they just gave up every map objective for free, and RoyaL was like, well, Vitality was like, well, if you're just not going to fight us, we'll just take every dragon and scale that way.
Yeah, and Vitality just played that really well, and that's exactly what they need to do, so I'm happy that they won and played it correctly this time.
Malik, first time being picked here in the semifinals here in week number 3. Hakai, 0-0-0. 0 impact, triple goose egg. That is not something that you want to see.
That's
at
the 0
all.
you were gesturing at.
Yeah.
Me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There were a lot of zeros on that scoreboard, to be fair.
Yeah, and one thing that they had to do is that they have stuns. They have the Preda, Disciple of the Plague ultimate. Once it's turned on, Poison Gas Bomb becomes a stun. Malik has an AoE stun. Alice has a stun. Slims has a stun. They didn't combo any of that. So the funny thing is, game 2, they didn't play to their win conditions to lock someone down, and they played just too passively and allowed them to be snowballed versus trying to make picks under that tower, because a dive comp that wants to get tower, you need to get picks when they try to do that.
Well, it's so funny because we saw ALG playing it last week in NA, and Slims might as well not have been an ADC. They just lined him up early from the get-go, doing damage. They played him out there on the field. He was not turtling at all, and that was how I guess you're supposed to play that Slims. And I mean, I was listening back on Rest stream later. He's like, yeah, I just picked Alice every game in the finals because I heard you, like, ripping on her. So I just wanted the player to prove that we could win with her. And I mean, that's how you win with Alice. Despite the fact that we loved RoyaL's draft, just didn't work.
It didn't work indeed, but we do have one replay to show you. It is a a solid effort of Vitality, again showing that they know what they're doing when it comes over these towers.
Yeah, the Sutaro there doing so well with that liftoff, focusing down this thing, like doing exactly what he needed to as Max. And look at him coming on the back line, doing damage and distracting so that his team can then focus down Coco and then start to push that tower and get it. But look at Sutaro getting 2 kills in that play there. This changed the turn of the game for Vitality massively.
It's like all of a sudden they remembered, right, we have a Max. We should probably use him.
Did you know
Yeah.
he can go to the back
He
line?
can, oh, yeah.
Wow. Today I learned. You learn something new every day. So, again, we're forced to the brink. Game number 3, winner takes all. Sides are swapping back. Vitality on the blue, RoyaL on the red. What changes? And Viram, I'm going to let you make this prediction first.
I think that now that Vitality has sort of found what's going to work for them, I actually expect them to come back in this now in game number 3. There is a chance that RoyaL can counter. I think a lot of it's going to come down to this draft and who can control those critical side laners. I think, not lamers, laners. These are the playmakers for these teams. I think RoyaL.
They're not lame. Come on now. These are professional players.
They're the exact opposite of that. They are the most important roles right now. So I think RoyaL, he's been a critical factor in both of these wins.
Yeah, he has.
I think he should just be taken off the board. Let's reset. Let's not even deal with him.
Yeah, RoyaL is actually target banned in Southeast Asia because he just offers so much early game presence and pressure, and he can be flex jungle or side lane, which we see happening in NA and EU. So with the Zero being back in, I feel like Vitality looks really solid now. Sutaro back on his side lane prowess. He's looking really good. Tulin being banned, it's interesting ban. Maybe they're denying it from the RoyaL, but we saw we saw the side of Vitality. Moon plays Tulin so well.
We saw the power when the mid is allowed to play their game in the mid game. the mid game, whoo, it's terrifying. I mean, we saw some individually clutch plays, denying the Violet as well. I like that, but Tulin, just get him out of there. I dig it.
You want to instinctively put so much focus on the mid lane because they're the playmakers, they're the carries, they're the ones that are doing all the damage. But over the last couple weeks, we've seen the support players, we've seen the junglers, a couple of the silencers really show up, earn their MVP slots, and have in a lot of ways kind of taken the spotlight away from some of these mid lane players. But you've got Simjo, you've got unbelievable playmakers in the mid lane that we cannot overshadow. Tulin as well as this Liliana, despite the power of the heroes themselves, it's who's playing them that deserves that ban.
Yeah, and you can see that Superman being taken off Teamy. Typical bans coming out here. We're going to see a Zenio or Malik ban coming from the side of RoyaL here. Do you want to give over Zenio or do you want to give over Malik? But I think they're going to ban Zenio instead because Zenio is, I feel, has a better kit. Oh, instead.
Nope, it's the Ryoma. I was going to say, I want the Ryoma. I want the Ryoma gone. I am more afraid of the Ryoma at this point than the Zenio. That's what I was looking for.
I like the option of leaving both of these open as well. The fact that you can give Zenio into the hands of Vitality is great because they don't have to worry about the Malik. The Malik was essentially a non-factor triple goose egg on the KDA 0-0-0 for Hakai. That is not something that you're proud of if you're RoyaL. Yes, you're safe, you're saving your KDAs, but you're not doing anything for your team.
Yeah, and that's something that's critical because Malik is a playmaker. He has that huge AoE ultimate, such a good initiation that just knocks up the entire enemy team. If you land that, you can do so much work and make the plays. And now we have Zenio or Malik. Those are 2 big picks. We have Max open. You know, we have some pretty strong picks. Wonder Woman also open. So who is going to get who in this matchup? Because those are the huge priority picks. And I feel like Zenio is going to be a tasty first pick for the side of Vitality because he offers so much and he's so strong as a side laner because of his AoE stun and his whole kit.
Vitality side laners specifically understand the concept of global ultimates a lot better. We've seen the prowess of Max play in that specific game. It might have taken a couple instances for him to find the ultimate button on his touchscreen, but all the rather having that option is huge for the other team. That's good.
And Malik and Wonder Woman. Did I just talk about those heroes?
I feel like you did. I feel like you know what you're talking about. Maybe just a little bit.
Tried.
Maybe just a little bit. Okay, so.
Oh, wow. Look at these fast picks there.
I like it. Okay, follow up on the Malik. He's good when you're the ones being aggressive. He's less good when you're the one turtling.
That's correct.
And we saw that in that last game.
But he's the type of hero that has the ultimate that can turn a fight completely around. Lubu is very interesting. They have really strong side laners against the Max and Zenio.
It's a lot of lockup.
Yeah, a lot. They're going to play a dive comp here, I feel. Vitality looks like they're going to play an ADC composition with Lindis, potentially. Lindis, along with RoyaL. That's going to be so hard to dive. And then, Zephy's
No, I like this way better.
This is
I like this
perfect.
way better.
Holy moly, that's scary.
Now the question becomes, you have essentially 4 frontline members.
Yeah, and
Lubu-
Max counters ADC, so RoyaL can't play ADC at this point. That's going to be really risky because Max is going to get on that backline with the Zenio.
Into a mage.
You can't play an ADC into a Zenio Max. That's just way too hard to deal with.
Kali. Yep,
And
I was waiting for the Kali.
Kali.
So the second you said frontliners jump,
That
I
was,
was like,
yeah, we were getting there. It's
there.
like we've been on the desk for a couple weeks before. Kali, one that despite the buffs that she received in patch 13, hasn't been seeing as much of play because of the other mid laners that he provides. However, with the right team composition, I know this is something that you've touched upon week in, week out, has the potential for a disaster, especially when you see the dive, when you see the options that are on the side of Vitality. All of them, Kali wants you to come to them. With the front line, she's like, hi, how are you? And I'm just going to pester you with damage.
knock them up and lock them down. That is the side of RoyaL in a nutshell right now. They are looking scary. The sheer amount of mass AoE CC, it's going to be a bit of a struggle because if they can like lay down a big Earth Splitter, follow up on that, and Kali's just able to sit in the back just raining out the spirits, like...
Yeah, but you forget they have a Zephyrs that wants to go in there. They have a Zeno that can give Zephyrs damage reduction. He's already tanky when he gets lower health. He's the more tanky he gets. And then you have also the Max that can get onto a Kali. So it's really good dive. And Alice is just going to get these stuns and this huge AoE silence. And that could put RoyaL in a really tough spot.
Yeah, I like both these drafts. I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards Vitality here. I think their composition
Really?
does a little.
Are you now? Is that
trying
is that
Kali?
true?
You turn on the Kali?
Yeah, I think as much as I like Kali in
No,
this
he wants his
situation,
predictions.
oh,
He wants to keep them true.
That too. But mostly, as much as I like the Kali, I think this is the answer. That's the great front line, but that's all the response.
Well, make sure you let us know what you're thinking at home, ladies and gentlemen. Head over to Twitter, use that hashtag Valor Series, because game number 3 of our second semifinal is about to start. The winner faces Team Noob in the finals. Points are on the line. Playoff contention is real. Let's make it happen, gentlemen.
Let's get into game number 3, and RoyaL is in full agreement with their hard jungle invade here. Finding King already caught out. Back you go, sir. Back to the spawn with you as we see a full committal. All 10 members here.
Sutaro, the god, steals it. He steals the blue buff with his Divine Protection Shield AoE burst damage when he basically tapped it a second time. Wow.
And Azure was also able to peel enough for Moon, who had to burn the initial Endure, but also got out. Oh my, that was actually a 4v5 because all through that Redemption went back and stole the opposing side's blue buff. That's, from a morale standpoint, how tough is that for RoyaL right now?
Oh my god, that's really bad for them. I mean, look at that. They're getting the bird. Now Redemption will do a full jungle rotation himself. He's going to hit level 4 before that, or right at the 2-minute mark, before the 2-minute mark. And once he gets level 4 as Zephyrs, he's going to be able to gank and do so much damage and plays against RoyaL there. What a super play by Sutaro there.
That was absolutely massive. And again, this is what we're talking about, the individual playmaking potential. When we get to this high level, these are the top 4 teams in North America. In Europe, there's a reason they're there. We're dealing with the best in EU, the best in NA. There's a reason these people are here. Their individual mechanics are massive. And when you have the sheer breadth that Europe has to offer in terms of all these different countries, bringing all these different amazing, talented players to the table, this is what ends up happening. You have people who can make plays at this level.
Yeah, we remember Sutaro. He played that Zenio, and I believe he won against an Omen matchup, which Omen is a pretty good counter against Zenio. That's because he got more fed and got ahead, and he just abused it, playing so aggressive against the Omen and winning that lane trade. And let's see if King's gonna be able to make a play here. Oh wow, and he does. He gets the Spirit Sentinel, gets a level upgrade, and now King and Wonder Woman has to back off.
So while all that's going on, the Dragon is actually sniped out there as well by Vitality. So across the board, the blue side doing work right now. And all the while, Redemption is just farming himself up there, getting that Zephyrs to critical mass already. He's already level 5 right now, the highest level in the game for good reason. He's been allowed to just do what he wants completely uncontested.
Yeah, he has 1.4k already compared to everyone else at 1k-ish. And that's huge for him. But now, he got to convert that, though. He's got to convert that into some kills, some jungle invades, so that he can abuse the lead that he has, because he's about to finish a lot more items versus the side of RoyaL.
And this early stage, and we talk about power spikes, where teams are in a situation to do that work. And there's different points of pressure. We talk about there's this early game power spike around the 3.5, 4 minute mark. There's another power spike around the 6.5, 7 minute mark. And then as we start to see more progress depending on the kind of composition, we are going to see Vitality when we hit that 3.5, 4 minute mark in terms of power spike. If they can get a solid jungle invade, if they can get off something with this next dragon as that respawns, that is where the snowball starts to begin.
Yeah. Look at this collapse here. Malik has no chance. He's going to use his ultimate. No, he cannot get out in time. Oh, he does. But Moon is right there to get the kill.
Oh, I love it. Having the Sunshine right there. Good morning, Sunshine. Just drops the stun right on top of it, exactly predicting where he was going to reappear. Malik, I think you needed to go just a little bit farther away, friend, but that was maybe max range. That was tough.
Yeah, and that's where you can beat him at. Malik does not have any escapes except for that ultimate. So if you can dive him and put pressure on him so he wastes the ultimate in a defensive point, then you won that trade, and then Malik is basically not as useful for the next few seconds where his ultimate is not charged up. So let's see how Vitality is then going to convert this to take objectives or starve out Royal's jungle.
And these jungle invades, they're going to be crucial here for the side of Vitality. They need to make sure that they do not let Royal get comfy. They already sort of have them on the back, but they need to maintain this. And now it is Redemption stepping up, but the Zenial is coming in as well. The healing, the damage reduction, they find Ganja as well. Beautifully done. And that is the power of Suitaro. That is the power of Zenial. First picked for a reason. In the right hands with a coordinated team, this hero is a beast.
Yeah, Suitaro is a monster right now in this Zenial. He is playing so well. I think maybe because he has SUI in his name like I do. That's maybe one of the reasons.
Yeah. So Suitar, that's it. Yeah.
There you go. But he is a monster. Last game, he just played so well on the map. And now in Zenio, the timing of his ultimates and his Angelic Splendor ultimates have just been on point. Even last week, this guy knows exactly when to ultimate, when to use his ability and make these global ultimates matter. And this guy is continuing to win his lane and set up his team to get some positive trades.
I mean, between that Zenio, between the RoyaL, this team is all about that divine favor. Let's put it that way. They are going to be looking to rain some blessed love upon their opponents here. Let's put it that way, as they are going to look to take it to RoyaL here in game number 3. And already we see 12.3 to 9.8, over 2K gold lead coming out for the side of Vitality right now. At this stage in the game, that's massive. But RoyaL needs to start making some plays here. They need to start looking for some picks themselves, which they do have the potential to do. They just need to find it and make it work, like Malik is finding the enemy team in the bot lane.
Exactly. They should have done it there. Moon was by himself. Moon was in the mid lane by himself. They should have ganked it and killed RoyaL there. But now Akai is going to sacrifice and die because he tried to defend this tower, which gives a tower and a kill over there. And look at the fight in the jungle here. RoyaL, Moon is in that fight, getting the kills. Wow, Max gets a kill on Lubu. They take the buff. Moon actually takes that blue buff. And they're just completely starving and shutting down RoyaL at this point.
A battle on two fronts. I feel bad for our observers during that one, as the fight was breaking out across the battlefield here, as Moon taking on 3 members in mid, bringing in the Zenio with that Divine Splendor, and then, of course, the Malik battling it out in that dragon side of the map as well. But all the while now, Redemption is just getting more and more stacked here as he's pushing in onto this tower. There's nothing Simjo can do about it. Moon surviving so long. His play has been phenomenal all day long. Put this guy on a mobile playmaking hero, he's a beast.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do. And we called it out earlier. Moon was by himself. Lubu was in the bush. Lumber was in the bush. Stun the RoyaL and then follow with a knockoff from Lubu. They could have killed Moon in that part and then not lose their jungle. But because they were not decisive, they didn't try to get a gank when it was a 1v3 situation and Moon was by himself in the mid lane. RoyaL continues to bleed and loses more.
Yeah, they're just falling further and further behind here. They're trying to make some plays, but they're never the aggressors here. They need to pick off Suitaro, which is what they're doing right now. And this might actually be the opportunity, but the team is rallying. He's running back. He is going to fall. That was the initiation they needed perfectly. He didn't see them in the bush there. He went in with that Malleus, tried to just creep down the minion wave. Not expecting there to be 2 members there. He had his mobility gone. He had his stun gone. That was the perfect opportunity RoyaL needed. That was their first kill in game number 3.
Yeah, with that 5-man rotation that RoyaL just did to top jungle, they just let the side of Redemption. They just let Redemption farm the entire side of that map of jungle. Look at Redemption. He's level 12. 2 levels above the outside of Royal there. And as a result, he's able to carry pretty hard when he lands a nice death from above onto team. Look at the amount of damage he's doing there. They're forcing a Malik, and Hakai's opposition, he's going to get killed instantly.
And every member of the side of Vitality collapsing here in beautiful form as Lady Kappa is trying to run for dear life now onto that Rabu. Can he get the Red Stallion over the wall? He is, but it's not nearly going to be enough. That was the gold lead. You just saw it there. Malik went in, and then he just left again. They put him right back in the spawn. That's not an ideal situation. We just saw the sheer amount of additional damage these items are bringing to the table. That is what this early gold lead has bought Vitality. It bought them that amazing fight. RoyaL looking for an initiation there, not quite able to find it, and this is now Redemption's game to lose.
Yeah, look at the amount of damage there with the Dark Slayer. This now is just really dangerous. They've already lost many of their towers. 3 towers being taken. This will be the 4th tower being taken. Now, if Vitality gets the high ground tower in this push here, it's not going to look really good for RoyaL.
It is not going to indeed. And I specifically said this is Redemption's game to lose here because he is now being the huge playmaker for his squad. Moon as well. We talked about these guys when we first introduced these teams, how they're both sort of vying for that #1 threat on the side of Vitality here. But if Redemption or Moon oversteps, if they give a chance for RoyaL to claw back, that's really what needs to happen. Vitality is playing so clean right now. This is really going to come down to RoyaL to force an error and Vitality to just get a little bit too overconfident. This might be that opportunity here as Moon's going in. He does have his ult though. Look at the damage. He's denying all of the recourse coming in from Simjo, denying that ultimate in its purest form. That is the Endure being utilized beautifully there as well. And they're going to look to break the wheel. Going in there though, Hakai is there, way overstepping as the high ground tower is also being pushed down by Max throughout all of this. Vitality is winning in every front.
Yeah, they're definitely just exerting so much dominance against RoyaL there. Simjo just can't do much on Kali. He's not fed. The ultimates aren't really landing and doing as much damage as he wants. And as a result, because Kali can't scale to her late game potential, she will not be that heavy, crazy damage burst mage that we see in a lot of games when she reaches her item power spikes and gains a higher level.
Yeah, I mean, Kali really comes online in that latest of games, but all the shields, all the heals, all the damage reduction between Alice, between Zenio, Vitality is just so hard to take down. We saw every cooldown burn for RoyaL there, trying to take them down here in the mid lane, but they were just not able to find it as Vitality is just so tanky. The team is just able to survive through anything at this stage, it looks like, between the additional farm, but they are trying to turn on this RoyaL, try and make a play, but despite Hakai going in, they just cannot make it happen.
Yeah, they gotta combo this. Wonder Woman has a stun. Ganja landed a great Earth Splitter against the enemy team in the mid there, and as a result, because they're not comboing this, they're gonna get focused down, and look at the fight here.
The fight in mid is massive. It is Vitality with the epic wombo combos following up that Hissy Fit, denying everything for the side of RoyaL right now. They are not able to do anything in these initial fights. The cleave damage coming in as well. We see the L'Oreal splash damage doing so much work there. Moon and crew are taking it to RoyaL right now. We talked about this. We have Hakai, we have the Malik ult, we have the Earth Splitter, we have Lady Cap, we have the bracelets of coming in from Coco.
Yeah.
We have everything. We have every stun. We have everything from RoyaL. They just need to all line them up correctly. We talk about dominoes. They need to put the dominoes in a line, and they need to go bowling.
Yeah, that's what Vitality is doing. You saw L'Oreal's ultimate, aggressive ultimate. You saw the Malice, the AoE stun coming from the side of Vitality. You saw Alice's Sunshine hitting multiple people, because if you bunch up and you get hit by that Sunshine, you're going to get stunned. And Zephy's as well was the aggressor there. He did give up his life, but they initiated, and they're so decisive as a team. And that's exactly what RoyaL needs to do. They need to counter-initiate. They have a lot of good CC. Kali's grievance there slows the enemy team. That circle, that what she drops on the floor is going to slow the team there. That's their chance to leverage a lot of these plays. Let Wonder Woman be the tank. Let Ganja go and get multiple people stunned, get multiple people knocked up by Lubu, get a Malik knock up as well, and that can turn it around and fight them. If they do not do this and they keep using these ultimates at different timings, they're not going to be able to maximize and be able to come back in this game.
They need to take one convincing, decisive team fight. But luckily, Vitality has built an entire squad around denying that. If Suitaro was not instantly stunned and knocked down,
Oh, this might be the opportunity to look for that now, as that is exactly what is happening. Was Redemption going in, doing a lot of damage in return. Look to sustain the Malice. Is going to give you a not connecting the heal coming off the side of RoyaL as they're looking to re-engage Coco, trying to find the opening with the high ground tower on the bottom lane. Is getting chunked down throughout all this smacks there. Split push. Coco now in the midst of it, but the massive ult coming in the follow-up there from the Wonder Woman. Look at the healing. Look at the peeling coming after the side of Vitality. Is able to sustain through all the damage coming to the side of RoyaL, and they are chunking them, ripping them apart. Look at Moon going off right now, diving them under the core with impunity, and that is going to be it. That is Vitality. Too far ahead. Don't look back. Taking it in game number 3 against RoyaL in convincing fashion. Vitality with the reverse sweep takes it. They are going to be going up against Team Noob. They are going to the finals.